back in the Northern Football Netball League. It is Eltham taking on St Mary's as the umpire puts the ball down, and it's going to be Brett McCaffrey to run onto the loose footy. Maybe held without it. Umpire lets it go. Darcy Valance couldn't keep his body quiet over the ball. Ball at half forward now for St Mary's. No clean possession just yet. Lots of bodies over the top of this footy, and the umpire's called out a free kick, and it's going to go to St Mary's for a hold, and it's going to go to Robert Todd, who's just come back into this lineup from Laylaw. He's going to switch the ball wide, where he finds Chris Petroro. Probably too far to score, although he's a booming kick, and he's making the most of the new rule. The man on the mark unable to move, of course, in that situation. He took him on, but he's put the ball out of bounds on the full, so it's going to be an Eltham football deep in their defensive end. And to bring the ball back into play is going to be Jackson Weatherald in his first game back for the Panthers since 2013.
So Weatherald now, good for St Mary's to get the first clearance, get the first foray forward, but Weatherald now, he's going to get a quick kick inside, and that's going to be Ben Montanaro moving the ball quickly into the opposing back pocket, and Eltham with a bit of run out of defence now, a long kick towards centre wing, and it's going to be Mark O'Regan taking the mark just on the defensive side of centre wing for Eltham.
So two of the recruits for Eltham, we talked about the pre-game, O'Regan and Weatherald getting their hands on the ball early. It's a little chip ball over the top, so it's a slow build-up here for the Panthers. And now the left foot kick inside is a good one too. No mark going to be paid, it is going to be paid there. And a chance now to move inside forward 50. Williamson the target, great ball came from behind, ball at ground level. The kick was smothered there off Minnes' boot. St Mary's have a bit of work to do, but they're calm under pressure. Petroro looped the handball out wide. Now little underground ball back to Petroro, hasn't gone the 15, so he's got to get rid of it straight away. Did he possess of it correctly? The umpire said yes, but the ball's going to be turned over, and the Panthers a chance to go back into attacking 50 here. Handball backwards to O'Sullivan, who gives it back in turn, and now the kick goes inside 50. It's a high up and under ball. There's no one home for the Panthers, and Nick Daisley intercepts that ball on defensive 50 for St Mary's.
Daisley has the ball at almost centre half back for St Mary's. He goes down the line, but it's going to be a mark taken there by Ben Montanaro on the centre wing for Eltham. He switches the ball across the ground, and now Eltham going to go forward once again. A long kick inside 50. That's in the direction of Michael Steele. He can't take the mark, but Eltham out the back, and it's going to be, is it Carafa who's kicked that goal?
He's put it through, and we have the first goal of the game. It's always typical, we get our return the footy, and the first one that kicks the goal is one that we don't have a number on the team sheet. Always the way. Welcome back to local footy, and the first goal is kicked for Eltham. They're one goal straight 6. St Mary's is yet to score, and I guess repeat entry inside forward 50, boys. It builds the pressure and leads to that first goal being kicked.
Well, the matchup I'm really looking at so far is the one that Joseph Bergman's on. He's got the big task of getting Matthew Williamson under control. You could already see early on that Matthew Williamson, he's just getting in front of his opponent early on, and that's how he allowed the space to get that goal from Eltham. So just one to keep an eye on for Bergman.
So the ball goes back up in the centre now. It's going to be Eltham getting the tap down. A couple of players chasing it on the floor. Antoine Woods gets the handball out. He gives one over to a teammate, and now Eltham going to try and get a kick forward. Woods gets the handball received once again, hands off to a teammate. The big pack players on top of it. Looks like now St Mary's going to get a kick away. No, it's Eltham.
Avramov it was, put it to the top of the square, still got to run and jump at it, couldn't get the hand on the footy though, and now the numbers with St Mary's. Cohen gave it off to Bergman, who spears a nice ball, and can just absorb some pressure here, St Mary's. It's been a relentless couple of minutes here from Eltham with multiple forward 50 entries. The ball goes towards half-back, and the Borough have numbers. This is Tane Cotter now through the middle of the ground. Long ball inside 50. It's a good-looking kick too, and a really strong mark's been taken. That was pretty courageous in the end. The St Mary's man, he's won a 50-metre penalty as well. And this will march him right to the goal line.
It's Gedge.
It is Gedge. It's Nick Gedge who's taking the mark. Had to stand his ground. He had 2 Eltham defenders bearing down on him. He was the meat and the sandwich, did well to take the mark, and then the umpire said the contact came too late thereafter, and he will make this an even ball game from the top of the goal square.
And it's a bit of a settler for St Mary's now as Gedge comes in right on the goal line, no doubt about it. He puts that run through for the first for St Mary's, so it's 1 goal 6 apiece here at Eltham Central Park very early on.
Nick, we talked about the Eltham forward setup in the pre-game. It's obviously quite a tall mix when you've got both Still and Williamson. It's going to mean that even the small defenders of St Mary's have to be switched on, because you imagine if those two don't mark it, they're going to at least bring it to ground level. which brings the small forwards into play. We can see Brett McCaffrey's actually resting forward as well. I think we'll see Anton Woods going forward at times as well. So you'd imagine that if you're a small defender for St Mary's, you're expecting that ball to hit the deck pretty often today, and you've got to have your work cut out on those small Eltham forwards.
Exactly right, and it's those alpha midfielders that really have to ensure that that ball is going inside 50 to the exact spots that those forwards do want to get it at. But yeah, St Mary's defenders might have a little bit of trouble around it, but I feel like they've got a good chance of getting that ball from ground level and clearing it as best they can.
Ball coming back to the middle now of Eltham Central Park. It's going to be Cantwell and Hewitt McGibbon for St Mary's on his senior debut up in the ruck. Both of them get up high. It's Cantwell who gets the cut down, and it's going to be a big pack of players falling over it. Can't really see the ball. I think the umpire's going to call for this one and a secondary ball right in the middle of Eltham Central Park.
So 5.5 minutes in the return of football in the Northern Football Netball League. Eltham, 1 goal straight 6. St Mary's, 1 goal straight 6. Lovely day for footy at Eltham Central Park. Great crowd in as a free kick's awarded against McGibbon there. The umpire said that his contact on the opposing ruckman was illegal there to push out as the ball went up to Cantwell to win the free kick right in the heart of Eltham Central Park. Sends a high ball inside 50. Williamson the target, one hand to it, couldn't control the mark. At ground level, the ball's going to be run over the boundary line eventually by Jasper, who just paddled it, did it well, disguised it so the umpire wouldn't pay a deliberate free kick, and it's going to be a throw-in. About 45 metres out from the Eltham goal, kicking into the creek end of Eltham Central Park in this first term. The umpire throws the ball back into play. Williamson's going to ruck in the forward 50 for Eltham. One that tap to the front of the pack. At ground level, picked up by O'Regan. Got a handball off, and that went to Tolly. Now the kick inside 50 flies, just touch up the boot. You could hear in the effects mic. Comes to ground level. A little dinky ball underground is going to be forced through to remind a score. And it is now 1 goal 1 Eltham. St Mary's is 1 goal straight 6. We've gone 6.5 minutes first term.
Great pressure from the Eltham forwards in that passage of play as well, particularly from the throw-in as well. Good to see that they've been getting on top of that early.
Yeah, and I think the pleasing thing for St Mary's would have been that Eltham are getting a lot of these inside 50s, but they're pretty composed in defence. They're on the rebound now as Dombrowskis takes the kick in. He's going to run about 30 metres and give a handball off, and that's going to be Joseph Bergman, and his handball is smothered over the boundary line right in front of the St Mary's bench. So another stoppage inside forward 50. Eltham looking to get another goal on the board, and it looks like it's going to be thrown in. It looks like it will be Michael Still doing the ruck maybe for Eltham. Yes, it is. He gets the tap down, and it's going to be a quick clearance for Eltham. They're going to go inside 50 once again, but it's going to be Matthew Cohen who sits under the ball for St Mary's. He gets a quick handball out to Lee, and he's taken high deep in defensive 50. He gets a quick handball out to Cohen, who goes just outside defensive 50 for St Mary's. Now kick longer down the wing for Borough, and they're going to look to move forward now. Inside the centre square, right in the middle of Eltham Central Park, it's Mitchell Hocking who has the ball. He goes long inside forward 50. A big pack of players fly, but no one able to take the mark, and it looks like it's going to be held up here as there's a big pack of players forming over it. The umpire, like we see, he's going to call the ball up.
Looks like St Mary's are using the corridor a lot early in this game as well. Good to see that they've been using that attacking style of play as they try to get that ball inside 50.
And just a late change for Eltham. Bronson Glasgow's come in, so he's wearing the number 1. It's a shaved head now, Bronson Glasgow. So the ball now kicked back inside, attacking 50 for St Mary's. Big flies. We've got to the back of the pack. Mark wouldn't be taken, and Eltham have all the runners at ground level. They're going to get out through a chain of handball. Now kick right through the heart of the ground. Woods the target. It goes over his head, and a really composed mark by Jasper, who kept his eyes on the footy, and he took the mark. Hudson half-back spreads a wide ball across the defensive arc, and St Mary's just to control a bit of play here. That's a dangerous ball back inside though. Unable to take the mark there was Hocking, and the ball's been turned over. A lovely kick inside 50, and Williamson outstretched on the lead, got the arms extended and took the mark in front of the eyes about 40 metres out, directly in front of goal.
Well, that's the risk you do take going inside the middle. We've seen St Mary's already tried a couple of times. McCaffrey just sweeping him beautifully. A lovely kick finding Matthew Williamson on the lead, his first chance for the afternoon.
So it's Williamson for Eltham. He's going to come in. He's probably about, man on the mark, standing about 35, 40 metres out from goal on a 45-degree angle. Williamson kicks. Umpire doesn't move, and Eltham have the second goal, or their second goal here at Eltham Central Park. They lead St Mary's 2 goals 1-13 to St Mary's 1 goal straight 6.
So a nice bit of chain of play there from Eltham once the turnover was made, but you're spot on there, Nick. You turn the ball over there, it's probably going to go back over the goal umpire's hat. We might cross to Josh Ward at ground level. we might hold off on that for a moment's time, as the ball's now back in the middle of the ground. So Eltham with the early 7-point lead, 2-1-13. St Mary's 1 goal straight 6. As the ball's now back in the middle of the ground as the Rucks go at it. And McCaffrey just ran underneath the ball, wants to hit the deck, but he composed himself to make the tackle. Might cross back to Josh now. I think might get that mic working. We got you there at ground level, Josh. So it was Val Chambers with the first goal. Thanks to that, Josh, at ground level. As the ball now comes back out, and it's McCaffrey hoiking the ball up in the air, and it's going to land in the arms of Avramov, but he dropped one he probably should have taken. Spreads a handball wide. Look at the numbers on the far wing, the Panthers. Can they conjure something out? High ball towards centre half forward, and a great mark's been taken. Michael still flew highest, and he took the mark in front of Nathan Jasper, and still will go back. He's got a few players leading into space. He's going to use one of them because Anton Woods has crept in and has taken a mark in a similar position to Matt Williamson just a moment ago, and probably a bit lax in the defensive side of the game there, St Mary's, and allowing a player of Woods to just sneak into the space. Still may have been right on his distance, but Woods will certainly have to carry from here.
Brilliant mark there from Steele. Pretty much a 2-on-2 when he got to the ball there. Fantastic. Got it at its highest point. And did well to find Woods.
And Woods now coming in for Eltham's third goal. He kicks, it's straight, and Eltham have a third here. So getting off to a quick start. I think St Mary's have been good in defence so far, but Eltham just taking their chances as they come. And they've got a quick lead, 3 goals, 1-19 to the Borough, 1 goal straight 6.
This is really, I guess it's not, well, it's far from panic stations obviously for St Mary's, but this is the time now, if you get possession of the footy, you might just want to hold it, just take some sting just out of the game momentarily. They've obviously now conceded 2 goals in quick succession. It's only 13 points of difference, but we've just seen a few kicks that went back in the corridor that were turned over. Now's the time to maybe just hold the footy and prevent some, some further damage to the scoreboard as the ball goes back into the middle of the ground. So Rucks at it there, 1 down by Campbell, ball at ground level, body stacks on the middle, and the umpire's letting it go on for a while, but it's going nowhere. And eventually we get a rugby scrum, and the umpire blows the whistle for a ball up.
Looks like it could be Jordan DuPont doing the second rucking for St Mary's. He's not very tall in stature, but he's giving a good contest now as the tap goes down. It's McCaffrey who tries to get a first kick out, but it's Eltham going forward. There's a long kick inside forward 50 over the head of the forward, but it's going to be taken inside forward 50. Daniel Jarvis gets a handball out towards McCaffrey, but St Mary's are going to relieve and come out of defence.
And Cotto's the man they look for with the hand pass. He's in a one-on-one duel with Avramov. Did well to keep his pace in front, tried to keep the ball in. The umpire said across the boundary line. So they'll throw in 60 out from the Eltham goal. Interesting, James Snell, it's a warm day, still donning the long sleeves. Yeah. He's brave to be doing that. He's makes himself noticeable for the callers because he's the only one out there with it. It is a warm day for long sleeves. There's a bit of blood rule, and it's going to be Cotter who has to make his way from the field. He's got the longest run almost in the ground here. They've changed positions of the benches here at Eltham Central Park. So the home bench is in this identical spot with the away bench. They switched to the other side of the ground. So Cotter's had to run from the pavilion side of the ground across to the scoreboard side.
Darcy Valens also rocking the long sleeves for the Eltham as well, so there's a few out there.
You're actually right, he does that week in, week out, so you would have thought he'd change his back on the ground now, Valens, but very warm day for the long sleeve, but do love the long sleeve brigade. There are some pretty loyal players in there that will wear it week in, week out, so we're going to have a throw in, 50 out from the Eltham goal. Williamson won it down beautifully to McCaffrey, but he was wrapped up straight away by Ronalds. Ball spilt out to half forward. The man we were just speaking of a moment ago, James Snell, was wrapped up in a tackle and the ball up right on the edge of the centre square. Eltham attacking end of the ground. Williamson too strong in the ruck contest. Found McCaffrey again. Somehow got boot to ball. Fell to Avramov. Couldn't take it cleanly. He kept steamrolling through the contest there. It's been stripped out of throws being paid. Which way is this going? Eltham's way. And it's Avramov who was the one who charged through the pack. Wins the free kick. The umpire in the best position there. I didn't quite pick it up, but pulled a shovel out of that contest, potentially against Petroro, and it's going to be Avramov kicking from about 45 metres out on a better than 45-degree angle.
It should be a pretty good kick. He's a pretty good kick, Avramov, so I expect him to make this one and put through Eltham's fourth. He comes in and kicks that one and put the muzzle on him. So just out to the right for Mikhail Avramov, and moves Eltham to 3 goals to 20.
Good to see something having changed in the new COVID world. The commentators Moz still exists. So Panthers leading here by 14 points. We've played just shy of 15 minutes in the first term, and kicking the ball back in the play is going to be Lucci, and he goes long on that trademark left foot. But it's all Eltham numbers at ground level once the ball hit the deck. Good bit of work there inside by Costello to force a turnover for St Mary's, and they might have an opportunity to exit their defensive lines. Minners flick the handball over the top to Yeomans, who kicks a long ball down the line. A great spoil came from behind, and the players ended up over the fence there for Eltham. It was a very committed spoil there on the far side of the ground, and ball goes out of bounds half forward for St Mary's. And we'll have a throw in about 80 metres out from the Borough's attacking end.
Important stoppage here for St Mary's. It's critical for them to try and get this one inside 50.
So to do the ruck work, it's going to be McGibbon up against Williamson, the two 26ers to compete. The throwing, well, it fell short. Neither ruckman were able to get a hand on it before it bounced. And now the tackle's laid on Williamson, so we'll have a ball up. Ball in an identical spot to a few moments ago, about 70 out from the Borough's goal. Give that one down to Williamson. Didn't find a teammate at ground level. Yeomans maybe held without it. McGibbon goes in again. And again, tackle's laid, and we'll have a ball up, again, in the identical position, 70 out from the St Mary's goal.
So the ball goes up, it's Williamson and McGibbon once again. Both ruckmen got hands to that, but it's going to be a quick kick inside forward 50 for St Mary's. A big pack below it, but now it's going to be a snap of goal for St Mary's, but that looks like it's going to go out on the full.
So it's going to be a chance here for Eltham to take stock across half back. They got a switching ball from Keys. He goes wide, spreads it to Abramov, and he's got runners on his inside, so the Panthers will run this ball. That's a dangerous kick though, just made to work by Montanaro. He took a strong mark at half back. He kicked towards half forward. Wasn't his best effort, but the ball spilled there by Dambraskas. And now Eltham can go inside 50 and still takes the mark after being laced out there by Alex Bell-Chambers. And just a few errors now creeping into the Borough game. We saw a turnover at half back that led to the second goal of the Panthers game for Williamson, and now one that Dambraskas would mark 99 times out of 100, slips through the grasp, and on the fast counter, it's ended up in the hands of Michael Still, who lines up for his first goal of 2021.
Nice front and centre work from Bell Chambers as well, and a beautiful kick.
So
He's an assistant coach out of Coburg, Michael Still, and I can just see a few of the Coburg boys sitting down here in front of us, so they might be getting him a few tips at training if he does miss this. And he has, it's gone out to the right for Michael Still. So another behind for Eltham. They move to 3 goals, 3-21. St Mary's is still at 1 goal, straight 6.
I think it's safe to say it won't be the last time he hears about that one, Michael Still. As you say, the Coburg boys had a close eye on that one there. So it's Eltham 21, St Mary's 6, and with the kicking in duties is Maggio. Goes long on that left boot. It's a long ball towards a pack of about 6 players, hits the deck. Hard to get a clean footy out of this one here. Trying his best to do so was Yeomans, but he legged he was. He had his leg grabbed and he was upended, and Yeomans is going to take a free kick across half back for St Mary's, who are trailing here by 15 points as we tick towards time on in the first quarter here. Good Friday footy at Eltham Central Park coming to you on 88.6 Plenty Valley FM. Long ball towards the half forward. Will the mark be paid? It will be. It's Goulden, a member of the 2019 Second Division Team of the Year. Wants to chip a ball over the top, maybe not quite on. Gave a bit for his forwards to do. They're up to the task now. Left foot ball inside 50. It's a pretty tough one to pick up there. Ronalds couldn't quite do so. It bounced out of his grasp. And now Keys picks up for Eltham. Gave the handball to Curry, and they're working with a chain of handballs off half back. And they cut back now through the corridor. An opportunity presents. A long ball from O'Regan, looking for Still on the slide. And he was able to take the mark low down. And Michael Still, third mark inside 50 for the term. We go back and make this a 21-point ball game. Has he quite got the carry, Jared?
I think he will. Well, he doesn't think so. He's gone just a bit closer to goal inside forward 50, and that's going to be Jackson Weatherall taking the kick for Eltham. He's directly in front, so hopefully a fourth goal.
Well, I can tell you now, Jackson Weatherall definitely has the legs from here. I know I'm not going to say whether a kick or not after our last attempt at doing so, but a prodigious kick of the football, one of the better users throughout the competition. Weatherall comes in, got very close to the man on the mark, and he's sprayed it right. Almost smothered that ball there, and it's a minor score for Eltham. We're just starting to burn some opportunities here. They are, though, comfortably ahead in the early stages of this game. 3 goals, 4-22 now, the Panthers. St Mary's 1 goal, straight 6. And a chance here for St Mary's to bring the ball back into play.
It's going to be Robert Todd taking the ball out of defence for St Mary's, and he finds a leading teammate just inside defensive 50. That's going to be Nicholas Dean. Dean now looking right down the line. He sees something he likes. The kick just spews off the side of the boot. Looks like it could bounce out of bounds, and it has. So they throw in right in front of the Eltham bench, right in the middle of Eltham Central Park.
You're seeing the big bereft of any ball movement forward, or they haven't had any ball movement forward, I should say. St Mary's, Dean's had to push up now to defensive 50 to get that mark. He's kicking towards Gordon as well, but it's obviously they're having to work so far up the ground because they just haven't had an opportunity to have any ball inside 50 for the time being. As the umpire throws the ball back in, it's a quick tackle late, and we'll have another ball up. Right on centre wing, it is pavilion side of the ground, right in front of the Eltham bench as the ball's tapped down. That time there by Cantwell, but it's St Mary's who get the clearing kick out of the stoppage, and a good mark's been taken across half forward. A quick ball inside forward 50. Eltham have the numbers though. The great spoil is going to end up in the middle of the ground there. O'Sullivan pushed out of the contest. It's picked up now for St Mary's by Cohen, but his kick was smothered. Goes again. Handball back through the corridor. Wasn't able to be contained there by Todd, and Eltham have forced a turnover again. Woods now gets it out to centre half forward. Spearing ball. Still on the dive. Couldn't hold it this time around. Minners lays a great tackle there. Inside defensive 50, spills out, Woods goes hard again, got it off to Montanaro, kick smothered, came back to Woods, sweeping handball to McCaffer, and he just dinks this short ball inside that just went to 15, and it's Daniel Jarvis who takes the mark, and just experienced by McCaffer, lowered the eyes, didn't blaze away, and found Jarvis unattended 40 out from goal.
It's the pressure again there from Eltham for me, because the fact of the matter is St Mary's had a great opportunity to go inside 50. They did, it got spoiled, and as soon as they used the corridor, they were just able to get that ball so quickly inside 50, so credit to Eltham there.
So Jarvis comes in now, just crosses the paint at 50, and he shoots. He's absolutely shanked it. Well, that's a kick of a footballer who hasn't played competitively for 18 months, is it? That's slewed off the side of the boot, and it goes out of bounds on the full. So the score remains Eltham 3-4-22. St Mary's 1 goal straight 6. We've played 21 and a half minutes in this first term. And the ball's now back into play. Kick to a pack, nearly a mark there to Keys. He was competing against Costello. They had the height advantage. McCaffer made the tackle there illegally on Gedge, who was pushed him back and wins a free kick across centre half back for Eltham, for St Mary's I should say. To Gedge, the sole goal kicker for St Mary's, just hangs a ball on Dean's head and just made it so easy for the Eltham defender there in balance. They just float in and take an easy mark. Shorts a ball to McCaffrey. He's got a runner coming by, and Eltham are going inside 50 once again. Ball was looking for Jarvis, but St Mary's had numbers back. Minners marked it, wasn't paid. The umpire called touch, so he handballed out to Dan Browskis, who spreads a nice ball out wide. Will it sit for Dean? It does. And now he's got the chance to put the Jets on. Kicks a high ball towards half forward, and a really good mark's taken there. This is Kassane, turns quickly on the left. It's a decent ball inside 50, spoiled down to ground. Eltham again have numbers at ground level, and they sweep a kick out, and now it's Wetherell who handballs off, and they can move through O'Sullivan.
And now they're coming inside, and it's going to be Cam O'Sullivan taking the mark on centre wing. He handballs off to McCaffer, who goes inside forward 50. It's going to be 1-on-3 in St Mary's favour, and it's Nathan Jasper who takes the mark inside defensive 50. He takes a quick kick out towards the wing, and it's going to be Tane Cotter taking the mark.
Bit of circle work at the moment, isn't it? St Mary's going out one way, Eltham through the other way. That ball just hung up a while from Gedge, and fortunately for St Mary's, the free kick was paid there. Cohen spilt the mark, but he was infringed upon, and he spreads the ball very wide now right in front of the scoreboard, and this is Hocking. Short little ball, will it work? No marks being able to be taken there, but the Borough have the numbers, and a little chip ball inside 50 is a good one. Now they've hit the link-up target, and they're a chance of going further ahead as well, and that's a nice little ball over the top. It came from Robert Todd. He was composed, and he's found a teammate who's about 30 metres out from goal, directly in front, and really a chance here for a goal against the run of play. Eltham's had the majority of the inside 50s, but a chance here for St Mary's to close the buffer back to within a couple of kicks, and it's going to be Tane Cotter to have the shot from goal, 30 out directly in front.
Big opportunity here for St Mary's, like you said, Samuel, just against the run of play, this opportunity here, so and you really need to get this one just before quarter time.
So Cotter, the former competition best and fairest winner at under 19 level, comes in now, shot on goal, will it hold its line? Looks pretty good, I reckon it's there. It is there, and St Mary's, well, they've peaked this game back to a 10-point margin. They go to 2 goals straight 12. Eltham is 3 goals for 22, and really, if you're the St Mary's coaching staff, if you can hold this deficit to 10 points, I think you'd be pretty content, because they've been outplayed in general play, but they've just been able to kick the goals at the opportune times, take the most of their opportunities, and margin, it probably isn't reflective of what the gaps felt like in the game.
It'll give them a bit of confidence heading into quarter time, no doubt. And then on the opposite end, you see Rob Hyde, he'd be absolutely furious with the fact, especially a couple of those set shots in the midway part of that first quarter, not going through to goals, makes it difficult for them.
Well, it's 8 shots at goal for 3 goals for and 1 on full for Eltham, whereas 2 goals straight for St Mary's from limited opportunities as the ball comes out. They're going to go inside 50 again here through Kassane. Nice little ball too. He's found a teammate deep in the pocket and a chance again for St Mary's to have a shot at the goal and make it 2 goals in the space of a minute. And it's the most recent goal scorer in Cotter who just snuck out the back. And here's a chance now. Well, the other one, 30 directly in front, regulation shot. This is going to test him just inside the paint of 50, kicking from a pretty acute angle.
And Cotter comes in now, takes a step inside forward 50, hits it cross
Flushed
slightly,
it.
Yes.
and it's come straight through for the goal. So Cotter and St Mary's, 2 in a minute, they move to 3 goals straight, 18 on the day. Eltham still lead at 3 goals for 22. St Mary's they've settled down a little bit. They look like they were rushing everything going forward in the first 15-20 minutes. But in this last couple of minutes or so, they've been composed, hitting targets going forward. It's led to 2 goals to Dane Cotter.
It's not blazing away, is it? Lowering the eyes. We talked about it a moment ago at the other end for Eltham. When I think it was McCaffrey I mentioned who lowered the eyes and found Jarvis. That time there, Kassane looked at, measured his options and went wide, absolutely, but still noted goal scorer, has to be said. He's only playing his 9th senior game, but that's 13 goals and 9 senior appearances for Dane Cotter, who's, you can imagine, going to spend the majority of his time through midfield. So 4-point buffer to Eltham, probably leading the scoreboard, but you feel that St Mary's might just feel like they've had the better of the quarter now, given what has transpired in the last 2 minutes as Petroro spiralled the ball into the forward 50 again for St Mary's, but it was intercepted, and now a fast break for Eltham. Lands to McCaffrey at half-back, sweeps a handball to Tolley, who cuts back inside the corridor. O'Sullivan had to kick it quickly, and more in hope than anything, and Minners was able to get back for St Mary's and take a pretty fine intercept mark. He can switch the ball across his defensive goal square, and he spotted up Nathan Jasper, who's been pretty solid in this first term.
Yeah, he has, and Jasper, I see something he likes just a bit further forward, and that's Nicholas Gedge taking a mark, still inside defensive 50 for St Mary's. Gedge looking up the ground, can't really see anything he likes, so he'll just go long down the line to 2-on-2 there, and it's going to be punched over the boundary line.
It has to be said, they kick those 2 goals and you just feel the confidence lifting out there, where they don't feel that, as you said before, they don't feel as rushed with the ball. Just making some good options there. Minners took that mark straight away, cut the ball across the other side of the ground to the more open side. It was so congested on the far side. So you just feel like they've worked their way into the game as the ruckmen go down. It's going to be an Eltham free kick from this one here. Goes against DuPont. You mentioned he's the smaller ruckman out there for St Mary's, and he probably was just a bit worried about the height battle there. Got the back of his opponent, and now kick to the top of the square. Willies and flew, but that's a great mark by Lee Minners. Cutting across for St Mary's, and he's going to spread a wide ball for Jasper. Those two have been real pillars in defence in this first term for St Mary's, keeping them in the contest. And now Jasper can go down the line as a dangerous kick to a 2-on-1. Fortunately, the ball hit the deck, but it's going to be an Eltham free kick. An advantage is going to be played, and a real opportunity here for the Panthers. A floated ball towards goal ends in a minor score, and they are fritting away some chances in this opening term. Eltham, they're 3-5-23. St Mary's 3 goals straight, 18.
It's going to be Maggio taking the kick out for St Mary's. Looks for DuPont. DuPont slips over at inopportune time. He gives the handball back to Maggio. He's tackled and holding the ball. It's going to be played on, and McCaffrey's going to straighten up for Eltham. And that is absolute class from Brett McCaffrey. Has a little bit to say with the crowd as well, but puts through Eltham's 4th. That takes them to 4 goals, 5-29. They lead St Mary's 3 goals straight, 18. So a good settle for Eltham.
He does like a goal celebration, Kath, and that was a very settling one for Eltham in the field because St Mary's were just getting the edge. You could see the Panthers were rushing those balls inside 50 a little bit, a nice little one, just to get momentum back towards Eltham's way.
That's the coach killer, isn't it? They've worked so hard, St Mary's, get themselves back in the game, and it's a little dinky kick out of defence that is their undoing, doesn't quite get to the target, and then obviously the tackle was laid, free kick against Maggio trying to run out of defence. McCaffrey took the advantage, and all class there from the Collingwood Premiership player to make it an 11-point buffer for the home side. And they're going to push forward again through Avramov. Little underground ball works out well. Another opportunity here for the Panthers for a chance for 2 in a minute. It's a high up and under ball that's going to go across the face of goal and in for a minor score off the boot of Joel Tolley. And it's Eltham now and even 2 goals ahead, 4-6-30 to St Mary's, 3 goals straight, 18, 29 minutes played, first term.
Bergman takes the kick out and he finds Yeomans in the back pocket. He's going to go long outside defensive 50. It's going to be a big pack forming under this. No one able to take the mark. Woods at the full of the ball. He gives a handball over to Cantwell, gets a long kick inside forward 50, and a very strong mark by Matthew Williamson. He's been great in this first quarter for Eltham, providing a great target, strong hands up forward, and he'll have another shot at goal.
Just staying in front of his opponent, mainly Williamson, and that's why he was able to take that mark. It was similar to the one he took early in the first term as well. Bit of a tight angle for him, but I reckon he's slopped this one.
He's on about a 45-degree angle. Comes in towards goal now, Williamson. He puts it out to the right a little bit and just can't bring it back enough. It hits the post. So a 7th behind for Eltham in this first quarter. Takes them to 4 goals, 7-31, leading St Mary's 3 goals straight, 18. And it looks like it's going to be Lucci taking the kick out for St Mary's. He goes out to a teammate. It might be called out in the full. No, it's touched over the line, so we're throwing right in front of the St Mary's bench.
Yeah, did well in the end, didn't he, on the fast? I think it might have been Ronalds who just got the hand on the ball to prevent that out in the full. Was never going to take the mark. As the ball to be thrown back into play. It's Eltham by 13 points, 30 and a half minutes played in this quarter. Ronalds did well to read the ball off the pack. As the siren sounds for quarter time, and at the first change of Good Friday footy in 2021, it is Eltham 4-7-31. They lead St Mary's 3 goals straight, 18, and after multiple missed opportunities for Eltham in that middle part of the quarter, Nick, you'd probably say it's an even reflection of where the game sits, given they got that late goal for Brett McCaffer, and a 13-point lead for the Panthers is probably just reward for the